What's up, Dan? How you doing, AM? Terry, Corey, how you doing? Good morning, good morning. All right, here comes NASDAQ, 745. Market's about to open here in a couple of seconds. We have a very, very green silver that's now given back about 2%. I think it hit 8% and then dumped back over. So silver is absolutely just Looney Tunes, baby. Looney Tunes. I don't know, man, I need to see some incredibly high volume on silver for me to get myself back into that again. That was stressful. I don't recommend it. 1 out of 5 stars. Don't recommend. Don't recommend. Nasdaq is piling into long positions here. We just I think tapped pretty close to the 50% overnight move, and all I'm doing here is looking for volume spikes. There's a 50% move right there. Right there. ES is down 0.4%, but recovering some just like Nasdaq. And Nasdaq is doing its thing like a chicken wing. Crazy stuff, baby. Big old sweeping top wick on Nasdaq. Heck yeah, baby. Yeah. Nasdaq is 787, 800, still going. Beautiful. NQ, yeah, 800. At the moment, we have equivalent call buying, call selling, put selling. They're about the same. And we're just kind of blowing through 800 here. We already recovered about 170 points off of the overnight lows. And we're just going. There's 800 going to 820. Silver is, of course, putting on a little bit of a bottom wick. ES is 68.78. Nasdaq is up here at 800. All that to say is that, y'all know me. I don't like to go do anything crazy Monday mornings because there's a lot of shakeout. There's a lot of craziness going on in the first 30 minutes of a Monday, especially after dealing with what happened this weekend. Is that there's going to be some crazy stuff here. I mean, they could easily run this all the way back up to 960 as they are to dump it back down and plow it. So, and I don't really know what they're going to do. I just kind of want to, sit on the sidelines here until coach puts me in the game. Let the starting quarterback get destroyed. I guess I am getting part of the settlement from FTC versus Amazon. I received a thing in the mail to claim $51. Hey, $51 is $51, baby. Nasdaq is still skyrocketing here. We're already up 120 points from the open and still going, and I'm not touching it. There we go, 840, 850. It's just rocket ships. It's just rocket ships. Everything is squeezing. Everything. I mean, silver's done its squeeze. It's starting to come back up here. RTY is starting to come back up after some red. So just crazy stuff, baby. Like I said, don't get in front of the the weekend. What's up, Street Salsa? How you doing? If you didn't notice, I posted a new YouTube video this weekend. It's the first of the 3-part series I promised you of the 3 criteria. Volume. Go watch it. All of the X's are red except for 2. XLP, XLRE are both red green. Everything else is red, but recovering. Recovering. It's an AA meeting. It's recovery. AVGO is rocketing. NVIDIA is rocketing. Nasdaq small top wick, but holding on just fine. We have 126 million of calls sold and 150 million of puts sold. It was a great video. Thanks, Mojo. Appreciate you. Lover, appreciate you. Another green on NVIDIA coming up. Nasdaq doing the same thing. Nothing but green, 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 green. We don't really have much data today. Today is probably going to be the lightest day for catalysts of the week. And we're going to see what's going to happen. Nasdaq is just flying, baby. Just flying. 25,830. We got a couple of minor top wicks on the 1 minute here from 840. We have aggressive call selling. They're selling puts here, but they're also selling calls. So the 0DT options aren't getting on the bull train. And we're going to see what they're going to want to do with this. 840 still. We have these minor top wicks still holding. Let's go to the 5. 5 has obviously a very bullish candle with an itty-bitty top wick. I would probably look for 820 or so to get low, to get short. But other than that, man, it's just blasting. Like I said, on Monday mornings like this after a weekend, they easily could take out the highs as it put in new lows. So I just want to just chill. What's up, Street Salsa? How you doing? Top wicks, more top wicks. absorbing. There's 850. Still going straight up. Silver's doing its thing. Nice. ES is top wicking. They're selling a bunch of calls here, but they're also selling a bunch of puts. And despite the fact that they are selling a whole bunch of calls, is that the fact that they are selling puts kind of puts us in that, once again, positive gamut. This is the exact same thing we've been doing now for a couple of weeks, where it's just relentless put selling, which kind of puts this little grindy up, supportive tailwind type of market. So just it's a very, very difficult market to short, because everything, it's like that top wick higher. Remember top wick higher from last year? That's what happens, is that you get top wick higher, top wick higher, top wick higher when they sell puts. So you need to see call buying to kind of get that momentum, or they reverse to short, whichever. So let's see here. Plus, of course, the 3 C's. We're looking for volume. We're looking for volume. Silver is right here. If you look back, of course, there's nothing really to compare to on silver, because we have blasted to all-time highs again. On NASDAQ, we have this gigantic engulfing green. In fact, this is one of the strongest green candles now we've had since last Tuesday or so, and it's still going. Absolutely zero top wick whatsoever, despite the fact that the news is terrible. And of course, that right there already is a 140, 150 point green candle, and that's a 240 point recovery off lows, and it's just squeezing. 890, still going. I love it. I love it. Absolute relentless. Their squeezes all over the place. Squeezes on silver, squeezes on NASDAQ, squeezes on gold. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Everything is just, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just launch mode. Launch mode. So, yeah, they're buying back a little bit of put here, a little bit. Like I said, we're only 6 minutes into the market here. I don't want to participate yet. It's too early in the week for me to jump in. I hate trading Monday mornings. I hate it. It's one of my least favorite times. Wednesday midday and Monday mornings are about the 2 least favorite times for me to trade. That's obviously within my trading time frame. Obviously, I hate trading all early afternoons, but within my trading time frame, one of my worst times to trade is Monday morning. Sunday nights have been way better than Monday mornings for me. Sunday nights have their place. They have their place, but there has to be a very particular setup. All right, they are back to buying a lot of puts here. They just bought back $400 million worth of puts, and they're still not buying calls. So NASDAQ is very, very sticky up to 870. S&P is doing the same thing. The bearishness has not translated onto the price action yet, but the options put on a little bit of put buying there. So we'll see. 860, just blasting. Let's go take a look at the caps. So the big caps, NVIDIA blasted, small top wick, very little. Apple is currently dumping all the way back over. New lows the day for Apple. Microsoft is blasting. Amazon blasted but top wicked. AVGO is blasting. Amazon blasted. Google blasted. So pretty much everything rallied out of the open. Meta's got a top tick. There's a couple of red names here, but overall, very, very green open here so far for tech. So far. ES is absolutely no top wick whatsoever on the 15. NASDAQ, itty bitty. So, all the same stuff here. I would, at this point, unless something drastically changes here, it appears they want to completely capture the overnight range. That's what it appears. Nothing can keep this market down. It's just every day is bottom wick and then higher. VIX gapped. Yeah, VIX got crushed. VIX opened up into 16, which is a very large move up from 14 all the way into the 16s. And then of course now they're just using this as yet another opportunity to gap volatility. So, and NASDAQ is already blasting here. So they just sold off all the puts they just purchased, so they're still selling. They're selling puts so fast. I don't know how they're selling puts this fast. Every day is 2, 3, 6 billion of puts sold, and they're already just went from, they already just put on 500 million of puts sold out of the gate already, It's just every day is just they're selling so many puts, it's impossible for the market to drop. Silver's, man, whew. Yeah, I'm not touching silver again unless I see something extraordinary. Extraordinary. All that to say here is I'm just waiting for a good 3C. That's it. I'm just going to chill and wait for a 3C. Silver right back to top. What is happening? It's silver, man. There are two parts to that trade, man. You know, silver is the institutional aspect, the institutional demand, and then of course now the supply. Now that everyone is trying to play silver, of course it's going. It's kind of like the same effect of GameStop. Not to mention people are trying to short silver on an institutional level, and what's happening to those guys? They're getting blasted. I mean, I'm watching silver go 8%, 7%, 6%, all over and over and over again. It's insane. It's absolutely insane what it's doing. So, like I said, same thing I've been saying last week with silver is I do not recommend putting on a position on silver unless there's a very high amount of volume to give you confidence. And silver is very clean. It's very clean if you wait for high volume with the little follow through. And Anna Coling talks about it in chapter 4. That she says that more oftentimes than not, she enters the trade too early because she got excited about the setup and she went ahead and jumped in, and the market continued on her signal for a little bit longer, and then it gave her the confirmation. So if she would have just pumped the brakes for a couple of minutes, she would have had a much more solid entry. Patience. And I think that is 100% true with silver. I cannot stress that enough. If I would have followed my own advice this morning, it wouldn't be nearly as stressful. So they are absolutely hemorrhaging puts. They're just selling off puts that are just insane. It's just going. Positive gamma, very strong positive gamma. The S&P is laughing at any kind of top wick. It's just squeezing higher. NASDAQ is doing the same. A little bit flatter than the S&P. Silver, of course, is bouncing. Everything is, Dow is rocketing. RTY rocketing. Platinum, it's not performing. But everything else is just freaking going. So no shorts. Take the word short out of your vocabulary completely, at least until you have a high volume 3C, and enjoy your money. It's insane. Every single opportunity is an opportunity to BDD so far. What's your take on JPOW? Nothing burger or cause for midterm? It's all nonsense, man. It's every bit of it's nonsense. Every bit of it's nonsense. It's orchestrated. Sold my puts and bought IWM calls. Nice, Lowen. Well done. Another bottom wick. S&P is just squeezing. Everything is higher, higher, higher. This is the first 15 minutes. We're about 3 minutes away from me starting to put on some exposure here. But this is not a setup you want to short. It's just top wick higher, top wick higher. Every red candle is bottom wicked. And I would probably say there's a pretty dang big likelihood that the NASDAQ is going to take back every single penny of the overnight range before any kind of pullback. It's just until you have a 3C, that's what they're going for. This looks like absorption for higher. I would probably expect a little bit of a green candle here soon. SPX is currently sitting at 69.50, which is smack dab in the middle of their 7,000, 6,900 range. So, yeah. So far, 15 minutes straight ripping into tearing, baby. Ripping into tearing. Straight put selling, 700 million puts sold, and they're still selling them. Every single day the past week, go look at the Hero channel I posted. Every single day, they're just, the put line is exponentially vertical. Just straight up. Because all they're doing is selling puts. Crazy stuff, bro. Crazy stuff. It is almost 9:45. We got about a minute till 9:45 here. My investing.com website that posts data, they updated. It's a new, fresh, clean look. But today, we don't really have any data. Today's Monday. 12:30 we have FOMC member speech. 12:45 we have another FOMC member speech. 1 o'clock we have we have 10-year bond auction and a 3-year bond auction. So a little bit of Fed speeches, but that's it. I mean, obviously you see here that the market likes this little range SR flip. So that would be my 3C. I would not touch a short position unless they could capture 850 right there. Right now, this is your shakeout range, your absorption range, right there. So 850 right there needs to be your 3C. No shorts above that line. Buying calls, selling puts so far. See what they do. There we go, a little 838. A little bit of top wickeroni. Do we get a 3C or not? It is 946. They're still bottom wicking it. They're still protecting everything. What's silver doing? Silver bells. Silver put on a 3C right there, baby. Yeah. Gotta love the 3Cs, man. I'm starting to like Russell and Dow more. I've heard that quite a bit. I've heard a lot of people say that the Russell is fantastic to trade. I've already added gold and silver and oil every now and then. I need to add some Russell. 840. I've had some pretty good success with the Dow. Success with the Dow. Because we are at the high, so everything is moving more. Yeah. 846.75. NASDAQ cannot see them defending it. You see them defending this line. It's like they're in the red zone here, and they're doing everything they can to keep this from falling. So no shorts until we can close 850. NASDAQ, S&P is 69.92. We have a small amount of call selling here, but they're still not buying back any puts. It's just straight put selling. Straight on put selling, baby. Doesn't matter what the market can throw at it. We just grind higher. That's called fraud, baby. That's called fraud. Up and up and up and away. CLG shaky. There you go, baby. At least as traders, we could benefit from the fraud. Yeah. Do y'all watch the Sean Ryan episode of the dude that found the Somali daycare? It's pretty good. I watched the first half of it. It's pretty good. A young kid exposing fraud, and he's already getting threats. And he said, as walking around Minnesota, there was a Somali gang that tried to pickpocket him and his mom. Silverwick. Yep, silver's coming on down here. I'm still going to wait for outlier volume. This little volume stuff is good, but I'm going to wait for some outlier volume here. Let's see if NASDAQ can get us a good position here. We have some call selling here. They're not buying puts, but they're selling some calls on the S&P. ES is still flagging to new highs despite the fact that they're selling calls. NASDAQ is bouncing back up. ES is about to break to new highs. And we're just kind of up and up and away, baby. Silver's coming off. I might put on some positions there. See Ryan versus Crenshaw. Yeah, that's sad too. That's sad too. ES is flying 69.93, still going. NASDAQ, large green candles, just everything is squeezing higher, baby. Up, up, and away. Up, up, and away. VIX. VIX is getting killed. Yet another opportunity to simply just crush the VIX and sell premium. That's it. NASDAQ is about to blast even higher. ES still about to blast even higher too. Let's go take a look at the individual names. NVIDIA got crushed. Didn't affect the NASDAQ whatsoever. Apple got crushed. Didn't affect the NASDAQ. Microsoft is pumping. Amazon got crushed. Didn't affect the NASDAQ. AVGO is pumping. Google got crushed. Didn't affect the NASDAQ. So Meta got crushed. Tesla's pumping. NASDAQ new high of the day. Now they're going to come up to 960 or so. I'd probably say 960. Just straight up all day long, baby. Let's go to 27,000 this morning. Legitimate question: how are sitting Congress managers getting rich off the markets? Yeah. How do you think, bro? How do you think? I absolutely loathe these markets. I cannot wait until VIX goes back to 30. I cannot wait until VIX goes back to 30. These relentless grind up everyday markets are atrocious to trade. It's amazing to invest in, but it's atrocious to trade. Here we go. 960, 920. Let's go 960, baby. We're going. Pump it. 920. 1.1 billion puts sold. 700 million calls purchased, baby. Straight positive delta. Let's go to silver. Silver is bouncing up nicely. NASDAQ is absolutely rocket ships. Absolute rocket ships. Ten-year bond auction at 1 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, we do have some. We have some bond auctions. We have the 10-year and the 3-year, and we have some FOMC speeches. So, FOMC member speeches, I should say, a little bit more, just a clarification. But I'm sure there'll be asked questions about what happened this weekend. Who knows? All I know right now is the market could care less. It doesn't look just like the past 5 years. Doesn't matter what the market happens. You know, it's just going to pump even higher. Pump, 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 pump. Why do you hate the markets? They're easy to trade. Puts at all-time highs. Rinse and repeat. Well, you know, it's great to invest in. It's great to swing trade in. But from speculating on short-term trades, it's just some terrible price action to always pump, 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 slow, grindy pumps. It's just not fun. You know, I'd rather have volatility where there's good quality pivots, there's good quality extension. But this just pump every day, this slow, grindy stuff is it's not fun, especially in pre-market or a power hour where we only have like 3-point power hours. The pre-recorded Powell thing is kind of funny. It's like releasing the death of yeah. It's pretty much what it seemed like. Let's see. Vertical every day, for real. What's up, Victor? How you doing? Good morning. Not actively participating in trading today. It's manipulated today. Yeah, like I said, Monday mornings I don't like to touch stuff. So, and I'm certainly not going to chase this right now. Second I try to long position here, it's going to tank. So I'm just going to chill. Just get me a position into the 10 o'clock time frame. Small little red candle immediately bottom wick to go higher. Like I said, I got to think that 960 is going to be their target here. There's just absolutely zero indication of selling. Look at the options. I mean, it's comical. It's comical. You think they would be selling calls here to take some profit, but nope, they're selling puts that are, you know, just like they've been doing every day. 1.4 billion puts sold, vertical, in every sense of the word. Just it's going to be impossible. Oh, why is that doing that? It's going to be impossible for this market to drop anything. My screenshot's not working. Why is my screenshot not working? It's going to be impossible for this market to drop anything with that kind of positive gamma. It's just going to keep on screaming. Keep on screaming, baby. There you go. I'm going to put this on the hero channel too. Boom. Silver's been the best plays. I've had a lot of success with silver the past couple of weeks. A lot of success. It's been really great to trade. It seems like every time I try to touch Nasdaq the past 2 weeks, I realize how much I actually hate Nasdaq because it's so manipulated and it's like a Venus flytrap. It'll catch you. Silver's pretty dang clean if you can be patient. It's pretty dang clean, whereas Nasdaq is just awful. ES is just launching. Pen is flytrap. Can't wait to tell my kids I had Palantir when it was $12 a share and sold it. Yeah, you and me both, man. I did the same exact thing. I did the same exact thing. Tesla's pumping. Not much else to say here, man. Absolute zero appetite for selling. Just straight up. Everything is just launch mode. So we do have, of course, another top wick on the 5-minute, but so far every single top wick has been higher. They have a due small inflow of volume there. Maybe at 10 o'clock we'll get a small tradable pullback. I don't know. I would love to see maybe even a 50% retracement to buy, but this is just, I mean, this is awful. I'm not long in this, and I'm certainly not going to short it, so I'm just, I'm watching the markets pump. It's awful. 905, another top wick higher, top wick higher. Like I said, I'd probably look for the pre-market high there. Just going. Just going. I think after the next crash, I'll buy shares of several different stocks in my kids' names and not even tell them the account zigs for 20 years. That's the way to do it right there, baby. That is the way to do it. Still straight up, not a single pullback. Up, up, and away, baby. We're now going on 30 minutes straight of pumping. The S&P is even higher than the NASDAQ. Silver is tight yet, kind of a little wound. So is gold. Oil is plummeting. There's 911, 912, getting ready to go to 960 on NASDAQ. Up, up, and away. Pump it. Pump it. Let's go. 1.4 billion puts sold straight up. 1.4 billion puts sold straight up. Let's go back to the one. Do we have any volume spikes? Nah, not really. We have an itty bitty little volume spike here at 950, but all they're doing is accumulating, flagging, and then higher. They did it here. Now they're doing it here, and then they're going to put in a new high to go to 960, just up, up, and away. Zero selling. This is the same exact price action we've been dealing with for over a week. Just waiting for my 3C. 3Cs or nothing, baby. 3Cs or nothing. What do I think about TLT? TLT is just chilling, man. It hasn't moved. It's just there. It's just back and forth, same price it was been in since early December, and on the wider scale, same price we've now been in for 2 years. So it's just chilling, doing its thing. Doing its thing. Again, TLT, the TLT trade is not a sexy trade. It's not something I'm looking to make big bucks on. It's just something as a little bit of a hedge of mine. That's it. A little bit of a hedge, make some dividend income on it. Just put some money in there that otherwise would be sitting in cash. Just wait our turn to hit 110, 120. That's it. So, ES just tapped 7,000 again. Zero appetite for selling. It's just launch mode, baby. Keep on going. How far are they going to continue to go with this? NASDAQ put on a red candle, instantly bottom licked, of course. Zero appetite for selling, $1.5 billion in puts sold. Do not short the market when they are doing this to the puts. It's impossible to short. You know what happens? The top wick higher activity that is driven by a vertical delta on puts. It's not call buying doesn't include top wick higher. Call buying is just blasteroni. Put selling is top wick higher. Every single top wick is bottom wick to go higher, which is very aggravating to trade if you don't know it. So just chill. Or of course long. Let's go over to silver. Is considered chasing if you're identifying up, up, away with no selling. Is it considered chasing? I don't like doing it. Is it considered chasing? No, probably not. I just don't like doing it. Like my system doesn't do well with chasing upside. So like for this, I can't trade this. It's very difficult for me to trade these type of moves that just never stop going because it's like I sit there and watch it. And I'm really good at not shorting it until the times of being shorting, but that's why I get so aggravated with these moves because I have to sit there and watch 300 points of blast off without a single top tick or volume or anything. So that's just the nature of my trading. Sometimes I get into these moves, but the only time I really capture these moves at the morning open like this is if the pre-market setup calls for it. And although, we had a little recovery here, but the best way for me to capture these opening trades, these opening blast-offs, is that if it's tanking the entire pre-market and I catch a too much too fast bounce, and then I catch the majority of the move. But when it just kind of does this little fluff and then 200 points of just straight up without a single pullback, I'm usually a spectator at that point, and it's aggravating. %, once that thing hits 110, 120, I'll start selling and buying some stock. If TLT is in that range, it means several high-quality stocks are trading at a discount. You're 100% right, yeah. 100% right. Waiting for silver. Can you explain what that means again with top wicks with volume, but the price action keeps rising? So when I see that type of movement, I call it top wick higher, whatever, for lack of a better term. But what happens is you start to see top wicks, which usually, if we see a bunch of top wicks, especially on the 5-minute chart, we're going to expect at least a little bit of a move lower, even if it's only a small one. But in a market like this, it heavy top wick, like complete top wick of a candle, and then the very next candle, it just blasts higher. And then another aggressive top wick, and then a blast higher again. So when it does that, usually I'm seeing a whole bunch of put selling with that activity. Not necessarily call buying, but put selling, which is a positive gamma, which means it's like everything is sold to raise capital to buy the inventory. That's what it is that they're selling a crap ton of puts to raise capital to buy the underlying. And it just results in that drift. It's a drift higher. So now the good thing about that is that if you can avoid trading that stuff and wait for the markets to turn, a little bit of volume can undo a lot of that green. You just have to be patient enough and astute enough to wait for that particular setup. And we'll see if we get that. Silver's still kind of come up here, going to volume, going up into the prior high of 85.43. NASDAQ put on a decent little move, but a high volume bottom wick, so that's not going anywhere. S&P is still the same. Silver is still coming up into 85.42. Instant bottom wick NASDAQ. We'll see if we take back up to 940. Keep watching. Keep watching. SPY is 893.38. Let's go to silver. Nice little red. So silver didn't capture the highs yet. I was looking for maybe a touch of 85.42 with some volume, but so far they kind of just checked up a little bit before. They're still selling puts, or I'm sorry, they're buying back a couple of puts here, just from 1.4 down to 980 million. I'm trying to be as patient as I can so I can get myself in a decent trade here. Get myself in a decent trade. Maybe the optimum thing to do would finally get a volume inflow on the S&P and Nasdaq, and they just flow it, just kind of waterfall action to get us some volatility here, some tradable volatility. They are starting to buy back some puts here and sell off a little calls, but still very slow. 3Cs. I tried big boy pants last night, Thursday, and they took me to the woodshed. You talking about minis on silver? I have to close my ears when y'all start talking about silver. It's an absolute wrecking ball for a trailing drawdown. Yeah, if you're trading silver on TPT, you need to be dang careful. Dang careful. I'm pretty much reserving silver for Top Step and for my IBKR. Just because, unless for the counts that have buffers, it's a monster. It's an absolute monster. In a normal world, silver's not that terrible. You know, it's big, but it's tradable. But when silver's putting on 8% moves, I mean, it's a monster. All right, let's see. S&P is still holding 69.97 here. Nasdaq is still holding the 800 range. So far, zero appetite whatsoever to drop it. They have bought back about 700 million worth of puts, and they're selling off some calls here. So maybe we'll have some profit taking. Maybe, but we'll see. The 15-minute has a top wick. The 5-minute has a couple of top wicks here. And, yeah, we might have a 3C going on, but silver's pumping. Do you reverse? What's that word? Do I rest rear? Do I reserve the 150 TPs accounts? NVIDIA to invest $1 billion in AI drug lab with Eli Lilly. Nice. Are the accounts fully free or just no activation fee? What are you talking about? For Top Step or for TP? Well, TPT, free funded accounts, you pay that valuation. And if you use the code OMTPT, when you pass that evaluation, you get a free funded account. So they'll give you a credit, so you don't have to pay for the funded. So your only cost is the cost of the evaluation. And that depends on which evaluation you choose to trade. Well, it looks like we're not getting any selling anytime soon, so I'm about to disregard NASDAQ completely and just move exclusively to silver today. You're welcome. Refiners aren't accepting silver at the moment due to the volatility. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Silver's kind of chilling. They are buying back a lot of puts here, so, you know, maybe we'll have profit taking. They bought back half the puts they sold, and they sold off half the calls they bought. So maybe we'll get finally some decent tradable movement here. But we need some extension. We need follow through. Right now they're bottom wicking everything. Every single little red candle is instantly bottom wicked. So, but they are buying a bunch of puts. I will say that. Let me come over here. My computer is running slow as crap. It just took about 40 seconds to bring up the snipping tool. That can't be good. Instant bottom wick on the S&P and NASDAQ. So like I said, there's just zero appetite to sell. And we'll see. It's just going. NASDAQ is chilling. Silver is 85.27. They're buying a lot of puts here, people. I am hoping we get a little bit of fun here. Look at this. Maybe we get some moves. Maybe we get some moves. NASDAQ ain't moving at all. ES is starting to slide just a little bit, but still bottom wicking. Sorry if you already answered. Do you reserve the 150K TP accounts, Top Step, just for silver considering the high margin? I don't only trade silver on TP on Top Step, but I do not trade silver on TPT simply because it's too much. I have traded it before, but on my funded accounts that have a little buffer, but it's too much for me. I approach TPT a lot differently than Top Step. Top Step is kind of like my Wild West. I do what I want. TPT is I treat it with respect, and it pays me very well. The daily payouts keep me from having to need much, whereas Top Step, you know, I've been known to put on max position sizing on Top Step every now and then. This is some of the most disgusting price action we've had in a long time on NASDAQ, bouncing all the way back up. Bottom wick higher, beautiful, beautiful, even though the fact that they are buying puts and selling calls, it doesn't matter. So I'm sticking with silver. High volume spike on silver right there. They sold off all of the calls they bought, and they bought back all the puts they sold. So the option chain turned pretty bearish for a second there. We'll see what they're going to do with that. My computer is running so slow right now, it's not even funny. Not even funny. Makes sense. You're welcome. You're welcome. There's a pretty dang good chance I'm going to have a blue screen of death today. I could feel it with this thing running so slow. Let's see. RTY put on a beautiful top wick. Dow did the same thing. Platinum starting to come along here. Gold and silver have kind of just reaching back up into their high positions with a couple of top wicks here. But the only thing that's not tradable are the indexes. S&P and NASDAQ are just both dead flat. NASDAQ is about to put highs in. Just awful stuff. So Like I said, silver right now is more appetizing to me than this other crap. AFRM gapped up overnight from the Trump credit cap news because peeps thought BNBL would get a boost. It's getting murdered. Nice. Silver finally putting on a top wick there. Are they going to play out? We will see. Something's kind of shaking up with silver here at the moment. It doesn't want to leave this 85.24 area, but it's trying to. It's trying to. Five-minute. Volume spike on the 5 for silver. NASDAQ is about to blast to 960. ES is just chilling here at 97. They're still buying puts and selling calls, so the option chain is not bullish. It is not bullish right now. But the price action doesn't matter. Silver. There's that top wick on silver. Can we get a 3C on silver maybe? Make up for this disgustingness. Just chilling. What you got there, disciple? Silver's coming up to a trend line. Nice. So on the 5-minute we have, obviously, I'm going to show you this right here. Silver's there with the top wick. And then we have, of course, this little red candle. The 3Cs would dictate about there for 3C. And go from there. We have a lot of put buying, call selling here. Put buying, call selling. But does it play out? They're about to go into negative territory with calls, which means they've sold off all the calls. They bought back $1 billion, and they've sold them all off. So are we going to have some profit taking in a tradable 3C at some point, or no? Have you thought about doing a new video on any changes to your IBKR setup? I haven't changed my IBKR setup. It's the same as it's been now for a few years. Hey, insta bottom wick on NASDAQ and ES. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, it's been the same setup now for a few years. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Silver's there. NASDAQ right on back up. ES is right on back up. This may be the worst price action we've had in months. This is awful. Absolutely awful. Silver's my baby. Give me some silver. They're still selling calls, buying puts. They're about, like I said, they're now down to 8 million in put and calls. That is down from $1 billion in calls. So they sold them all off, and the market doesn't care. Straight call selling, and it's straight up. Bottom wick, about to put in new highs. No 3Cs yet. Absolute atrocious price action. Silver is the play right now. 77.7 is the high on silver. What do you mean? The prior high, you mean? You mean 80, like 80, 77 is way on down. You're talking about the low. I think you mean the low. Didn't have the cojones to buy the bottom of the channel after shorting the top. Almost had to go drive to the gas station for Marlboros. Yeah, after this morning, man, I'm taking it easy, dude. You know, I had way too much stress with that silver trade. So I'm taking it easy. It's aggravating. I hate being patient. Think I'll check back later. Had a great Asian pre-market on silver, not interested in giving it back. Yeah, this is pretty awful. You know, don't sweat it. This is pretty awful. Silver is about to put on a beautiful setup here. Nasdaq and ES are absolutely awful. I wouldn't touch it. I mean, right now they are straight selling calls here, baby. I mean, they've dumped so much over. They're now in negative territory with calls, so they've now sold off all the calls. There's nothing supporting on the options at the moment. But doesn't matter. Price action isn't selling yet. We do have a top wick here, so if they do pull back, in the event that the clouds part, just the planets align, and the market does actually pull back more than half a candle, I would probably target. Actually, that's not it. That's here. I'd probably target about 69.85, about 10 points down, just for first target here, and don't short into the 50, and then after that we'll play something else. But it's still bottom wicks, like I said. They're going to have Armageddon to get us more than half a red candle. And if they do actually do that, then yeah, look at the 50 Fibonacci. You think Nasdaq should take 986? I think so. It's just blasting. Like I said, days like today, they can keep on going until the closing bell. So I would probably say pre-market highs is what they're going to first target. After that, they'll take out Friday's highs. And yeah, all those Somali daycare funds are now running to the stock market to buy. So the worst thing in trading is for me is that beating myself up all day over getting caught in a drawdown on a sweep, then immediately close the green with green. What it's about, yeah. No, I feel you, man. I feel you. Care to predict Iran revolution outcome? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's all nonsense. Like I said, every time you turn on or you open the internet and you look at something, it's just more nonsense. It's just another. It's all nonsense. So who knows? I'm glad that we have guns here in America. That crap only happens in countries that don't have guns. Watch your video on trading volume of the weekend. Really well put together. Enjoyed it. Thanks. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions. Be on the lookout for this week's videos. I'm putting out another video. Apple's looking good. Nice. Silver bottom wick. Still nothing on silver yet. JP Morgan says be cautious on stocks after Powell's criminal inquiry. Meanwhile, the markets skyrocket and don't even top tick. Thanks. Appreciate you. Hey, big blast. There you go. I survived the bear market of 10 o'clock to 10:01 o'clock. 9:30 and still going, baby. Let's go to 26,000. Look at that. Something just happened. They sold off $1 billion of puts on one candle. Something just happened. Absolute monster move. Wow, something just happened. Look at that. They just went from 600 million to 1.4 billion puts. Woo! It's crazy, dude. Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the Iran stuff. I just don't know. I know Trump now said that he wants to get involved, which I don't see why. But We'll see. All right. 7,000, baby. 7,000. Where's the trace at right now? Trace is sitting right here at 69.70, which is about 10 points up on SPX. And there's not a single appetite for selling. There's not a single sell order on the books. It's just up, up, and away. The 3Cs. Man, if you had, there's not even been a single print on the 3Cs. I mean, you might be able to have gotten 1 point on S&P. Nasdaq, of course, there's not a single 3C on the book on Nasdaq, so that's just straight up. That'll probably top out at about 28, 29,000 into the afternoon. Silver, putting in new highs here. It's probably going to go for 85.74. Just going. Want to hear a crazy silver story? Always. One of the online resellers I watch on YouTube just so happens to trade as well, but he only swing trades. He's fairly versed on everything going on in the market, especially silver. So one day at a thrift store, he stumbled upon some sterling silver silverware. He bought all of it for $5 and drove to his local meltdown shop and gave him a check for $4.50. Wow. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Positive gamma is the worst market in the world to trade. I hate it. That's why I posted what I posted on X last week. Microsoft is starting to take a little bit of profit. Nvidia is starting to take some profit. Amazon is top wicking. AVGO is taking a little bit of profit. Google's taking some profit. But the equities still hang out at new highs. So silver is top wicking. JP Morgan no longer expects rate cuts. They predict a rate hike in 2027. Interesting. Interesting. Muy interesante. What times we live in? What times we live in? Top wick of the double tap. Yeah, you want to short that? Go ahead. I'm not touching this. This is, if you were to take every single price action known to man and compile it from my worst to trade and the best, this is the worst to trade for me. This the non-stop grind up. I absolutely loathe. I'd rather get kicked in the junk by Rosie O'Donnell than trade this style of price action. I don't know. Just I feel like Rosie O'Donnell would have like a wide foot or some sort of like hoof, you know, like a horse or something like that. I don't know. Cloven, yeah, cloven hoof. Silver still going, blasting, 85.63. See what they can do, baby. Doesn't Rosie and Trump have beef? I think so, yeah. I think they got beef. Interesting fact, in 79 and 80, I ran in Afghanistan constantly in the nightly news and casually mentioning CIA presence. The nightly news referred to them as Muslims instead of the modern name Muslims. Huh. Interesting. I mean, didn't Ireland reject her? Did she like Ireland kick her out? Oil is pumping. Nasdaq is still bottom wicking everything. S&P is still chilling up at 7,000. I'm surprised the IDF isn't doing some targeted drone strikes. Trump posted a photo of him as president of Venezuela. Oh my gosh. Do I think they're going to reach 25,850 on Nasdaq? Do I think they're coming down to 850? I mean, I would like to think they're going to take some profits here and make something tradable, but this style of price action, you cannot underestimate how far they can grind this thing. I've seen days where they do this the entire session, and then once you hear the final bell at 4 o'clock, then they put on a 100-point red candle. But don't underestimate how far they can take this thing. Silver's breaking out. They're testing the big red candle from 85.76 right here. Let's see what they could do with that. Nasdaq is starting to put on a small red, but we all know how that works. There's Kennedy's trend line. Silver there. Who's ready to short 85.4? I need volume, baby. Right now, there's no volume. Like I said, 3 C's is what's going to get me. 3 C's. 3 C's are nothing. 3 C's are nothing. Nasdaq attempts to put on a red candle here. We'll see if they do something with it. ES, the same thing. Silver, 85.745. What's up, Range? How you doing? I saw a video on YouTube that you might like to see. It's on a channel called Untold World War II Stories. It's they mocked his legal gun mod until it sank 12 ships. Interesting. Yeah, I'd love to look at it. That sounds American. That sounds American. All right, silver's Blastaroni with cheese. Nasdaq and ES are taking a little bit of a breather here. They're back to selling calls, buying puts, but we know how well that worked last time. We might have a 3C cooking here. Maybe. Silver is absolute, silver just snorted an ounce of cocaine, took a hit of methamphetamine, shot up double the dose of TRT, and is trying to go for a sprint. Let's see if right now, my eyes are right here. Where's the volume? I need volume. I am desperate for volume. Give me something, and I will trade. ES is still holding, trying to bottom wick as usual. We don't have a 3C yet. Actually, technically, we do have a 3C. Do I want to trade it? No. Technically, we do have a 3C on NASDAQ. Led to the creation of the Warthog. Nice. Bottom wick. 3Cs remind me of the 5Ds of dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge. Yep. If you could trade silver, you could dodge a wrench. Hey, bottom wick. All the way back up. New highs. That's why I'm not touching NASDAQ, even with the 3Cs. Because this is the worst price action I've seen since 2019. I did a paper on the CIA in high school and college. Nice. That made you laugh. There you go. I'm glad. I like making people laugh. Anyone cook anything good over the weekend? No. We did get a deer yesterday, though. I was sitting here at my computer last night right after I signed off, and I hear a gunshot. And my kids come in and say, hey, we just shot a deer. All right. So I had to run out there and process it. Double smoked a ham for my kiddo's birthday. Nice. Double smoked. That's right. Process it. That's right. Silver is putting on a 3C right at 85.75. That's the prior high. NASDAQ put on another top wick, but of course instantly bottom wicked. This setup may lead to some profit taking on NASDAQ. This kind of looks like it, but like I said, I want no part of shorting NASDAQ right now, or the S&P. It's just I hate these style of days, and I know better. I know it better. I'll end up getting PP slapped. So if it does pull back, I'll gun for 838. That's not only the prior pivot, but it's also 50% of the range. S&P is doing the same. I'll probably look for my first target for them will be right here. I need to turn on the morning ranges. There we go. There's your morning ranges. Silver is putting on a nice little red expansion candle here. We'll see what they can do. They're back to selling puts. They've now sold more puts than before. So 1.4 billion puts sold, which means they're not coming down anytime soon. As long as they continue to sell puts, they are not going to drop the indexes, period. A wrench made of silver. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. $1.4 billion puts sold. Still selling puts. Does Hero work the same way on gold and silver? Yes, but there's not as much liquidity because you're dealing with the options on silver. So, and not many people can actually trade options on gold and silver because the margins are so incredibly high. They already smoke per se, but you just put it on the smoker 250 and get her back to 140 and slap a glaze on it. That sounds delicious, Brady. I made some Guinness beef stew last night with prime grade truck. It sounds amazing, dude. You ever smoked a bologna? A bologna? That's good stuff. Apologize, I've been of very little value to y'all today. This is, unfortunately, this is the worst price action for me to actually touch, so. Not to mention I had my stress event in pre-market. We're used to it. Banned. I love it. When you say there are selling puts on these, are these SPX? Yes, they are 0 DTE SPX puts, which means as long as this blue line continues to go up, they are not going to drop the market materially. They may put on a top tick and a red candle, but the fact that they are absolutely selling everything tells us the Nasdaq, the indexes are not ready to go down at all. Maybe this afternoon they might put on a top tick, but so it could drop in the next 2 days. It could. Again, this market has been in tailwind now for a couple of days. I might make some buffalo chicken soup again this week since it's supposed to actually feel like winter. It only took till mid-January. Yeah, really, tell me about it. It went from 55 degrees to 20 in 2 days. You ever smoke a bologna? Sounds like something out of the movie Airplane. That's a good movie, though. It's a good movie. Bears. Anyone watch that game? My wife is a Packers fan, so by the transitive property. There you go. First time Bears beat Packers in postseason since Pearl Harbor. Interesting. There'll be one great opportunity today on Nasdaq, maybe, and you know, yeah, I think there'll be a great opportunity on silver too. And silver right now is a little bit cleaner, so I'd rather focus on silver. But I mean, I'll keep an eye on Nasdaq into the afternoon. But this is, like I said, when the Nasdaq puts on the worst price action that I can trade for me personally, I know better than to try to touch it. So I'd rather just chill, gather up my little bit of money here and play some silver. But as long as they're selling puts, I'm not even if I do have a 3C, it's going to be very difficult for me to get me to take a short position on Nasdaq, simply because when I see them shorting every single put in the books, it's just very difficult to short it because everything is bottom wicked. Now, if they start to really pile into put positions and we have some 3Cs, maybe, maybe. I do have to mute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. The slowly grind higher on ES and NASDAQ seems to not be happening. Well, let's take a look. I mean, ES is pinned here at 69.96. NASDAQ, is every time it even touches this area, bottom wicks. So we're just chillaxing. Are we still in distribution? ES is not. You can't call a distribution if we're putting in new highs until they do the selling climax. So it looked like distribution for a while. They did put on a whole bunch of sells in there for 2-3 months. But, ES put a new high. NASDAQ didn't quite do it. So NASDAQ you could make the case that NASDAQ's still in distribution. But yeah. Hey, another bottom wick on NASDAQ. Silver is still chilling at 85.79. I'm guessing this isn't news to you, but do you think the reports of Venezuelan soldiers being taken out by a sonic weapon is likely real? I've never personally heard of that. I've seen some crazy technology, but that I've never heard or seen anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe they got something going on that I don't know about. I mean, you know, those dudes got some crazy stuff. They get access to crazy stuff. So who knows? Hey, hammer candle on Nasdaq. Wow, that I can't believe it. That's surprising. You mean they didn't drop more than half a candle? Wow, that's the first time I've ever seen that. S&P is still holding 69.98. Options aren't changing. Silver is still chilling 85.62. Yeah, the sonic weapons are, I've heard of that stuff. That's one thing, but the fact that these dudes started bleeding at the nose and ears and like they had to collapse and stuff. I don't know. Maybe they got something. I've never heard of it though. Doesn't mean anything. I mean, I wasn't Navy SEAL or anything like that, so. Yeah, I've never seen that movie, but I heard about it, and I was wondering if it's any good. If you were, your book would have already been written. Yeah. Weapons and Stranger Things are real. There's very little about Stranger Things that's real. I had a cousin who worked on a project, finished, and went off the grid. Soft kill. There you go. In law enforcement, we have something called an LRAD, which emits sonic waves and just causes discomfort. Yeah, probably. I mean, they've always been known to kind of tweak things up a little bit. Silver is still just kind of putting on a top wick. Can we get a 3C on silver? Maybe. I think I need 85.44 to get something going on silver. We'll see. Nvidia gave back almost the entire green move. Apple is top wicking. Microsoft gave back half the move. Amazon gave back half the move. AVGO is still flagging at the highs. Google gave back almost the entire move. So where the crap, Meta gave back all and went lower. So where the crap is this green on NASDAQ coming from? Almost the entire tech stocks put in, at least sold off half or went to new lows. So where's all the green on NASDAQ coming from? Interesting. Temperature swings are worse than a volatile market. 27 yesterday with snow. Tomorrow is 50. The day after that, 24. Yeah, same here. Same here. I mean, it was almost 60 degrees on Saturday, and then yesterday, this morning it was in the 20s. It's back and forth, man. It's crazy. I watched gold break out, but no extensions. Yeah. Silver's kind of chilling up here. No 3Cs yet, but they might put on a 3C. RTY's going. VIX is getting hammered. What's up, Bandit? How you doing? Mag 7 has been lagging quite a bit. Other stocks in the index are carrying. Yeah, it's just weird to see so much selling, and yet NASDAQ not only is not selling, it's still holding highs, and it's been now a couple hours. So usually I look for some sort of a pullback before a takeoff, but they're not even giving it to you, so that's why I'm not touching nothing. They're still selling a bunch of puts, 1.3 billion puts sold. Silver's just kind of chilling. Is Bookmap stacking any liquidity? Not much. Not much. It's been very, very light book. Very light book. Where's TJ been? I don't know. He went quiet a long time ago. Order flow. Yeah, order flow has been terrible. It's absolutely nothing on the book. Zero. Zilch. Zilch. This is absolutely atrocious. Worst price action I've seen in a long time. Absolutely atrocious. Makes me want to just go out there and work on the yard. Most option volume is at 690 on SPY. Yep. 6,900 as well as SPX, somewhere in that area. There's a big old bottom wick NASDAQ, bottom wick on the S&P. Silver's still chilling. The market's got nothing left, man. It's been, I mean, yes, right now we haven't sold off today, but we're going on a year without a single pullback. A year. So the market is in desperate need for some inventory lower to get some volatility back. So if you are, someone who's very bullish and wants this market to blast, then you need to be praying for a dip just to get volatility back. Because if you don't get volatility back, you're just going to grind. If you do get some volatility and we dump, we can go back to having this stuff. The massive recoveries, quick, good stuff to fill the imbalance and mean reversion. But until then, this is what we're stuck with. Just absolute dumpster fire price action because there's nothing left in the market. This is all calls, like this is not buying of the indexes. This is put selling and weak call buying on the zeros. Positive gamma to drift, which is some of the worst type of price action to trade. It's great for investments, but S&P 7,000 about to blast to new highs. NASDAQ is going to follow suit. Up and away. Not a single pullback yet. I'm looking for that NASDAQ imbalance to get filled once we get away from this range. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. They just sold off another 500 billion worth of puts. 2 billion of puts sold. Unbelievable put selling. Unbelievable put selling. Straight up. It's almost like the market didn't dump almost 400 points last night. 910 going up. ES 7001 still going. They're up 40 points on the day, not a single pullback. Up and away. Once they claim 7,000, I will look for 720, 7020. Once they claim 7020, we could possibly visit 7050 by the close. Once they clear that high, and they'll start squeezing. Looks like a rational hold today, rotational hold. It's something. RTY squeezing here too. Everything. I mean, everything I touch now on the index is squeezing. Everything I touch on the stocks is dropping. So the indices are going up. The stocks are dropping. XLF starting to bounce back up here. X's are down, but starting to bounce. XLY. Silver. No, I mean, silver, they keep on testing the lower bounds of the 3Cs, which I'm monitoring. But, let's go to the 5. You see where they're defending. This is a 3C. I think some of the market makers watched my movies today because they didn't give me a 3C on NASDAQ, ES, or silver. They're just kind of just chilling right at the 3C. They're like, we're not going to put a lower low in. What are you talking about? Look at this. They are selling so many puts. I'm continually having to scroll the chart. Look at this, 2.3 billion in puts sold. Man's trying to keep me down. That's right. Unbelievable. Put that in the hero channel right there. Sailor put on an engulfing red there. See if they can close under that pivot, that 3C pivot. Even silver's bottom wicking everything. It's funny because last night it was inverse. Silver began to pump. The indices dumped simply because, hey, this stuff with Powell and stuff is not good. And then all of a sudden now they're both doing the same exact thing. They're correlating. So if we can get this silver to close this pivot, we might have a 3C, and then we can start playing a little bit of action there. And, silver will pay pretty well, too. $85.36, baby. 2.4 billion puts sold. They're still selling everything. Still selling everything. Sorry about that. Rooster was going nuts. Rooster was going nuts. All right, silver's finally getting us a 3C, man. Finally getting us a 3C. And bottom wick. Never mind. Never mind. All right. Look at this. This is some of the most aggressive put selling I've ever seen. I mean, it's straight up. If they keep this up, they're going to sell $7 billion worth of puts by the end of the day. NASDAQ, bottom wick back up. ES, bottom wick back up. All right, silver is blasting back up. They're defending the 3Cs, and then of course they rocket ship because they watched my video this weekend. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. All right, 2.6 billion put sold straight up. All right, there we go. This is what Elm's doing every time one of his roasters starts making noise. Pretty much, that's exactly what I just look like. I ran out there, and a hawk flew off the tree. Like, the rooster did his job, man. That's why it's so important to have a rooster. That's why it's so important to have a rooster. I'm thinking about following you again. What's up, Lisa? Do you use another venue for day trading or just YouTube? I do have a Discord. I have a Discord channel that I do in addition to the YouTube. You know, of course, I offer the free resource of YouTube, which you can learn as much as you want to there. And then I have a Discord server where I stream as well, post setup, signals, everything else too. Today I've been of no value, so whatever, because I can't read this price action. But normally we have a pretty good time, make a little bit of money. Silver's about to launch. Pull up on the stick and launch. End of the week is options index, options expiration. Are you expecting big moves? Well, I typically look for the day before OPEX to kick off the OPEX move. So Thursday, I'll typically look for the move to kick off. I hope it's better than this because this is absolutely atrocious. But we'll see. $15.31 VIX. VIX is still getting crushed. They're selling off volatility here, which matches 2.6 billion in puts sold and still increasing. %53 chance Fed Powell is charged with a federal crime, and yet there is $3 billion in puts being sold and new all-time highs. Mortgage rates are now at a 3-year low. NASDAQ about to put a new high in. ES about to put a new, did just put a new high in. Silver is about to do the same thing. Everything is going. RTY, YM, gold, silver, ES, NASDAQ. Silver's about to do it. Everything is just blasting. Everything. Pick your poison and just long. Didn't Rowan Brisky find a volume pump on the metals? I don't know, did he? There we go. ES is about to take out 7,004. And blast. 53% chance to get charged with a federal crime. Oh, thanks, Street Salsa. Appreciate you. 7,004 ES going. 2.7 billion puts sold. 1.1 billion calls purchased. So insanely bullish. Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah. Yeah, that was a good find. So 12:24 p.m. Eastern time every single day, he discovered there's a gigantic spike in volume on silver. 12:24, and I had no idea that was a settlement for silver. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's weird. Definitely a weird time. ES has put a new high in, still going. 2.8 billion puts sold. Still trying to figure out how to play it. Well, the 3 streets still work well. So usually I would write off a volume spike on a settlement like that simply because that's always settlement, but it typically works really well because I've been playing that play, not knowing that that's the settlement for silver. So it's been working pretty well. Hey, new high ES, new high NASDAQ. 3 billion puts sold. Straight up. Silver ain't moving. Gold's kind of trickling higher. Oil's blasting. Everything's just blasting. Played it 2 days in a row last week and made bank. Heck yeah, man. Absolutely. 7005 still climbing. This is an absolute. This is what's called a delta squeeze right here. They're just positive gammas. Deltas are very positive, and up we go, just nonstop. We're going on 3 hours in a row now of not a single pullback. 3 billion of put sold, just straight up. Straight up. Straight up. Silver is there. RTY is there. GC is there. ES is still going. What time is it? 10:15. Red candle instantly bottom wicked. I survived the bear market of 10:11.2 seconds to 10:11.6 seconds. $3.1 billion put sold straight up. They're selling everything, which means the VIX is still dropping. Sorry that. Yeah, I always forget I have a boom mic. My apologies. Daily chart, massive bottom wick on NASDAQ. If they close this, there's nothing left on NASDAQ except new all-time highs. That'll be it, and we'll pause the distribution theory for another couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years. ASMR. There you go. Nice. Very nice rowing, Brewski. Good stuff, baby. Still going. 3.1 billion puts sold, just straight up. Straight up. NASDAQ is absorbing. Silver's not going anywhere. I'm hoping we get some sort of 3C action on silver. But every single little of our attempt down is bottom wicked on silver, too. It hasn't moved anywhere now for 2 hours. NASDAQ continues to fly. Look how close it to my stop. I know. That's a good feeling when it doesn't trip your stop. I need to take a look at the Fed Watch tool. As of now, the Fed Watch tool is pricing in a 95% probability of a pause for January FOMC. That is January 28th. Silver, massive green breakout. Massive. Just absolute monster move. Everything is just freaking going. Wow. What a circus market this is. What a circus market this is. 85, 83. High volume. That's some of the highest volume on silver we've had today. But it's just launch mode, baby. Launch mode. $85.75. Top wick deck and going. Targeting 70.13. Yeah. 3.3 billion puts sold. They're just, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. Not without some sort of catalyst. I mean, it's just insane. 3.4 billion. Look at that. Silver's blastaroni. New highs on silver. Just going. Just going. Who's buying all the puts? Retail. Retail. There's a market for it, but they're selling the crap out of them. They're selling the crap out of them. ES is a freight train. NASDAQ is a freight train. Silver, everything is just going. 3.5 billion puts sold. Wow. Top week. Silver's going. Silver's now up 8.2%. 8.2%. Unbelievable. Massive move. Silver is about to break out again. Look at this. 85.91. Just still going. Wow. NASDAQ's going 960. ES is 70.10. Are we getting a blow off top? This is a blow off top, dude. This is a blow off top. It's just a monster. A monster. Silver's going. Silver just put on the highest volume candle of the day. But 100% you need to wait for a 3C for that. That could be set up. I'm going to keep a close eye on that silver move because this could be it. But, I mean, it's up 8.3 and it's not even close to trying to sell. So who knows, dude? I mean, it's just, this is a clown show at this point. Everything is just straight up. Silver, NASDAQ, ES, everything is just, it's just straight up. 3.5 billion puts sold. I need to screenshot this too. Come on, baby, give me that. There we go. There we go. There's that hero. It's comical at this point. It's comical. Silver's still straight up, 8.5%. Gold's going. NASDAQ is top wicking. ES there. Silver's still going. Just insane. 86, 86.01, 86.02. Gold's starting to put on a top tick, but silver is just squeezing. This is insane. Wow. Red candle instantly bought up on silver, squeezing. This is now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th time it's squeezed in the past 12 hours. I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. We're at daily opening price, yeah. Do you think GEX levels for silvers have importance on the futures? No, not on this. These moves are, this is unlike anything I've ever seen. Watching something like this go up 8%, 9%, 7%, and it just does squeeze after squeeze after squeeze after squeeze. This is, they're piling through anyone who's even trying to short silver on an institutional level. I'm not talking about retail people trying to scalp shorts. I'm talking about the big dudes who are holding hundreds of millions of dollars worth of short positions. That's what's happening here. I mean, it's just unreal. Unreal. Now we have another high volume spike on silver here, but they're just blasting through everything. 86.09. S&P is 70.10. NASDAQ is 25,955 and still going. Not a single red attempt on silver. Look at this. Look at this. This is unreal, dude. Absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. Squeeze after squeeze after squeeze after squeeze on everything. NASDAQ, 25,950. Choo. Choo. Let me see here. Heard that silver priced in China and Japan is worth about $120 an ounce. Not sure to verify that. There you go. Since you are a volume trader, would it be easier to follow the tick or range chart versus time chart? Not really. I've tried to look at ticks before. I mean, they've got some value, but it's me personally. The good old-fashioned volume is what really helps me out. Helps me out. A little bit of red candle on silver, instantly bottom wicked. I survived the bear market on silver of 1022 1 second. New NVIDIA partnership. What's it doing? NVIDIA pumped. VIX is still getting dumped. Although VIX is not getting crushed as much as I thought it was. It's not getting dumped as much as I thought it was. NASDAQ, a little bit of a top tick off 25,960. 960 is the prior day's highs. Silver, bottom wick back up. If it takes out 86.18, it's going to squeeze to 87. It'll probably go to 9%. There we go. Bottom wick, there we go. Keep a close eye on silver. Keep a close eye on silver. That is a tremendous amount of volume. That is extraordinarily high volume on silver there, but it doesn't matter. It's squeezing everything. NASDAQ, nice little final rollover. The silver bear market of 1022 is a $1,000 candle. Yeah. All right, so we do have a little bit of a, they've cashed out some puts there. They bought back some calls, or they sold off a little bit of calls there, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. 9%. Are they ever going to take profit on silver today, you think? Tremendous. Look, silver dumped, what, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? And then they bounced it back up, and it's been rocketing ever since. I would love to get me a 3C on this to pay for my wasted efforts today. Tough to sit on my hands and watch silver. Well, it's all right. Let's do it. .0. NASDAQ is holding. NASDAQ is holding prior morning high as a support. ES is 7007. Right there. Silver is starting to put on a very, very small red candle. Gold is starting to sell off some. I don't know if gold and silver will kind of correlate there, but gold is recapturing some lower prices as people are taking profit. And we're just going to see. We're just going to see. At some point, silver is going to take some profit. Maybe it might be tomorrow or overnight, but this is 9% without a pullback is a little obscene. It's a little obscene. Gold is coming off just a touch. Silver tried to come off. They're still bottom wicking. This little support resistance here would be nice. That's going to be the defense, 85.82. Right there. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Gold is selling off nicely. That was a nice little top tick on gold. We'll see if silver's going to do the same thing. 85.96 right there. So far, nothing. Good luck getting that song out of your head today. Yeah. Thanks, J-Dog. Appreciate you. Bottom wick, silver. Nothing. Will they take profit today? That's the question. The juicy, juicy orange that needs to be juiced. Silver in a short squeeze? 100%. Absolutely. Silver's up 9%. I mean, it's just... yeah, 100%. It's a squeeze. These rallies like this, people getting pummeled. Freight trains. Freight train. That's that prior high right there. I need a dummy high volume on CL. Yep. We already had some tremendously high volume there, but an outlier volume spike would be great to give us something. And then a little bit of like one of those profit-taking moves that just sweep would be beautiful. It would be juicy, beautiful, very profitable, but holy crap, man. Confirmation City on that one. Confirmation City on that one right there. Like a 2-inch red candle right now would get us going in the right direction. Like one of these moves right here that happened at 9 Eastern. Almost back to a face value of 51 gold. Nice. Yeah. Nice. SPY is 694.31. Give me a 3C. Stop watching my videos, market makers. Stop watching my videos, market makers. 85.9. Watch the SR flip. We have an SR flip right here at 85.84. Bottom wick. Gold selling off still. We have top wicks on gold. A little bit of profit taking on gold here as they're up almost 3%. NASDAQ is rolling over just a touch. Yes, rolling over just a touch. RTY is freaking launching. CL, top ticking. Gold's still selling. Silver is bouncing back up. So silver and NASDAQ, or silver and gold are not correlated at the moment. Gold is just taking some breathing here, and silver is still holding, 86. So we'll see. Short trappy? Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. 1.4 billion calls, 2.78 billion puts. There you go. Silver's about to blast. Epstein files deadline lapses for a third week in a row. I don't even know that was going on with that. What files exactly? Yep. Well, this has been fun. Zero trades for me. Well, something's going to happen, but this is one of the most unenjoyable sessions I've had, and I can't remember when. So hopefully this afternoon presents a little bit better setups, but this is pretty awful. Pretty awful. Pretty awful. Gold's still dropping here, 46.30. See if they could tap that 27.3 right there. Blastaroni candle on silver. They're about to wipe it. If they take out this high, you're going to see a monster upside move on silver. Monster upside move on silver. $2.7 billion puts, 1.5 billion calls, 8.5% move on silver. Choof. Choof. At least the company was decent. 100%. 100%. I don't think I remember seeing positive delta crap since late September. Yeah, this is pretty awful. This positive delta crap is pretty awful. But pretty awful. Again, we do have FOMC speeches this afternoon, so maybe that's what silver's doing, but they're just, this is absurd. This is absurd. Look, silver's about to break out again. This is absurd. Let's pick a good entry and leave it on all day. Yeah. NASDAQ is 25,950 and going. ES is about to break out. Silver is about to put another high in. RTY just put a new high in. Just, yeah. I'm watching Hero for silver. What do they got right now? Let's take a look at silver. What we got? Right now it's nothing. Nothing. Double top wicks on silver at 86.3, but it's going to go. What's your volume alerts for silver set at? Right now I don't have one. I'm just watching it manually. But like I said, if I'm going to take a short on this nonsense, it better be a dang good reason. Dang good reason. Because this is squeezy. At any point, they could put on a 4-inch green candle on silver. I mean, heck, silver's been straight up since Thursday afternoon. Thursday morning, silver's been straight up. So if you're going to short a 3-day trend like this where it's just squeeze, it better be some dang good volume. Dang good volume. Give you a little tap-tap-a-roo, it's right. Gonna have to start using inches for the silver chart. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Gold came off nice for 630.8. Right there. Gold's starting to come off a little bit. You know, gold's coming off a little bit. Should have shorted gold. That'd be nice. Silver's about to break out. There we go. There we go. See? I told you, they're going to put on a monster, just like rocket ship candle out of nowhere. And then they're going to squeeze it the next level. And we're already up 8.7% and still going. There we go. 86.245. 25. There's not really much volume on that spike there, so they should continue to go. 86.27, 0.3. There's no activity on the options there, though. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go SPX index. It's hard to trade all-time highs. Is there a way to sniff out levels not touched? Not with a high confidence. There are ways to do it with patterns and, you know, Fibonacci's and all that stuff and trend lines, but really the only thing you've got for you is options data. Options data, which options data on silver and stuff don't really work all that well because there's not much to it. Not to mention silver is a new popular product. Up until now, silver hasn't been what we know of this now. It's the GameStop of precious metals right now. So silver's still going, 86.31. Let's see how far this thing can go, baby. We're almost 9% on silver and nonstop. 9% on silver. Insane stuff, dude. Insane stuff. A little bit of a top wick there. We'll see what that is. Gonna have to start using. Oh, I already read that one. Yeah. 86.16. 50 fib admittedly works pretty well. It works pretty well for targets. You know, I've not officially adopted it, but I do use it for some targets, and it works pretty well. You know, I like it. I like it. Small itty bitty little red candles. NASDAQ, gold is coming off. NASDAQ is chilling. ES put on a little bit of a red. We'll see if we actually get some profit taking. I like it a lot. It's a good movie. At what point do they halt trading on silver? I don't know. I don't know. So far, that's the most aggressive top wick we've seen since this little 940 move on silver. So we'll see what they're going to want to do with that. But like I said, I better have a dang good reason to put on a short position on silver. I want to see something like this to get me short on silver. I mean, 9% is a little excessive. We'll see if they profit take some, but, you know, we'll see. I'm just looking for the SR flip, which is this orange line. Prior support or prior resistance, new support. If they do come off, I mean, you see they're already bottom wicking it, so it's no big deal. If they do come off and test this 85.40 support, we'll have to look for support into that level. What do y'all think about that 10% interest rate cap on credit cards? The national average falls to $2.79 per gallon for gas, the first time in 5 years. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Still too much. Still too much. Profit taking, do we get any? 85, 80, 98. 85, 95. Do we get any? In my part of Florida, it's under 260. Nice. Still one under $2. I want under $1, baby. We don't need no gas. We don't need no $3 gas. Remember in 2014 when it went over $4 a gallon? I remember that. That was terrible. We had $6 there in California. It's terrible. $6 a gallon. That's aviation fuel prices. They won't halt it because they're the ones buying it. Yeah, buddy. Whenever someone isn't supposed to lose starts losing, they'll halt it. Yeah. Tell me about it. All right, so we have one minor little bitty top wick at silver at 86, but they're still holding it, nothing crazy. If we got under this little red line or orange line of 85.4, that's a little bit below a normal 3C, but like I said, when they're squeezing 9%, there's a good chance they're going to profit take, but you've got to be on the right side of that move, otherwise you're going to get crushed. So just wait. Between gold and silver, gold stepped up with a short. Yeah, gold did fantastic. Beautiful short position on gold. I'd love to see silver put on something just as nice. Doesn't even have to be, doesn't even have to be the whole range. Just let's get us something going. Let's get something going here and give us something to munch on. Give us something to munch on. Silver's starting to do it. 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 You're talking yourself into it? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Developing. Yeah, buddy, it's developing. Developing. All right, let's see how this response goes, baby. Let's see how this response goes. Oh, man. They're redefending, so they've got this little SR flip where they breached it. They have this green move back up to 85.4, and now they're just kind of top wicking on down. Hit my goal. Nice OFP. I love it, buddy. I have overnight high as 85.75 as support. Whatever this high is. So 85.45 is the high from 1034. So, that's the likely SR flip. And if they hold that, we might be able to get moved down to 85.3. So all that to say is just do your due diligence on silver and be very careful. I'm hunting wabbit. Hey, anybody still in the running for the $1,000 giveaway? I think we're going to go ahead and start another one regardless of who's still in this. That way we'll, even if I have two competitions running, I think we're going to run for it. We're going to do it. I think we're going to do it. Gold's getting dumped, baby. Look at that. Wow. Gold's still selling off. Gold's still selling off. $25,934 and holding that. Silver's V recovering, baby. Right on back up. One red candle and then right back to 85.92. We'll see. The third C needs to close. You see, I'm telling you, man, the market makers watched my 3C video this weekend, and they are defending every possible 3C. They'll test it, and they'll defend it. So I need a 3C closure for confidence. 3C closure. Gold still dropping, top wicking. They're taking some profits. I mean, heck, gold's already given back half the range. Half the range. NASDAQ is doing that. ES is doing that. Silver's complete V recovery. $86.01, 0.03, 0.06, 0.07. Couldn't get a single close under the 3C level. Not a single one. All right, y'all. I am going to call that a day. That may be one of the most unenjoyable sessions I've had in probably, 6 months. Hated every second of it. Wish I would have done something different. So, it's like it's one of those days where it's as if they literally watched my video and made sure they didn't give me a single 3C closure. They tested it and they'd bottom wick it and go. So I appreciate hanging out with y'all though. That was good. All right. All that to say here, man, I don't know if they're going to take profit on silver. 9% days usually lead to a little bit of profit taking, but silver's squeezing everything. They're bottom wicking everything. They're squeezing everything. We have a whole crap ton of put, selling, call buying on the indexes. NASDAQ is still holding. They've been up now for 10 hours straight and haven't sold. ES is doing the same. You know, they're rocketing to 70.01, and you know, they're about to put a new high in. Silver's 86 and holding, 9% and blasting. So if you are going to play a top wick, then please, volume, 3C closure, position sizing. So, and you'll be fine. Other than that, man, hopefully tomorrow's a little bit better. We do have FOMC speeches here in about 2 hours, so be ready for that. Other than that, I will see you all bright and early tomorrow morning for another beautiful day. I'm out. See you.